erschallt des Bergmanns Gruß bei der Nacht, dann erschallt des Bergmanns Gruß bei der Nacht. Glück auf, Glück auf, Glück auf, Glück auf. Die Bächlein sein, Kreuz, brave Leute,
The road to Berlin is getting ever shorter. We're now just 2 steps away from the final of the DFB Cup. Welcome to Gelsenkirchen for a prestigious quarter-final tie between Schalke and Werder Bremen. These are 2 of the competition's most storied clubs, but fortunes are very different. This season, Schalke are in a relegation battle in the Bundesliga, while Werder are flying high, unbeaten in 2019 and on course for Europe. Both sides come into the game on the back of Bundesliga victories. Bremen beat Mainz 3-1, while Schalke grabbed a vital 1-0 win at Hanover. And Huub Stevens has made 2 changes to that side. Umar Mascarell drops into defence in the absence of Bruma, and in midfield, the big news, Nassim Boujaleb makes his starting debut. He's alongside Suat Serdar, who got the winner on Saturday. Up front, Guido Burgstaller is in for Mark Uth, who will start on the bench. Florian Kohfeldt with 3 changes to the side that beat Mainz. Marco Friedl comes in for the injured Gebre Selassie in a reshuffled back 4. Further up, Nuri Sahin is back from suspension and replaces Kevin Mervalds, who drops to the bench. Up front, the dynamic duo Max Kruse and Rashica are today supported by Johannes Eggestein. That means that Martin Harnik, who's got 21 goals in 26 DFB Cup games, starts as a sub. So the big news in the lineup, the starting debut for Nassim Boujaleb. Stefan Freund joining me today. What do you make of that?
I have spoken to Mike Buskens, the assistant coach, before the game, and he did really well for 2 weeks ago in the friendly game against Sevilla. And he brings something special in the game, like, you know, a young player, 19 years old, from the second team, 11 minutes against Hannover to have the debut. Or the debut is done, and now to start at home a game, that he can, maybe the player, make something special behind the 2 strikers.
Well, indeed, for Schalke, a modicum of success would be very important. They finally got a victory on Saturday, 1-0 away at Hanover, after 8 defeats in a row. How important was that for them?
Of course, for the confidence is it really important, and the pressure here in Schalke is high. All the supporters are, of course, behind the team if it goes well, like last season. But if you don't play well, like this season, everything can turn quickly. So the 1-0 win is huge for Huub Stevens and Mike Buskens, the coaching staff, but even more for the team now. So they have more confidence, and today is a game that can win everything. It's not like the way how they play in the Bundesliga. Today is a cup game, in or out and at home. And I think it is definitely a 50-50 game. I can't see that Werder Bremen are the favorites because they're 6th in the Bundesliga.
Well, Werder Bremen have been having an absolutely fantastic season so far. Their coach, Florian Kohfeldt, was named Coach of the Season in Germany last week by the DFB, the German Football Association, and that's down in no small part to Max Kruse and Milot Rashica, who we're just seeing walk through your screens at the moment. Rashica and Kruse with 10 goals between them in their last 4 games. Is there any chance at all for Schalke to contain them tonight?
Yeah, they will play with a back 3, so they know that coming 3 attacking players, they can make the difference. But for me, Max Kruse is the game changer. He scored 2 goals against Mainz, and the first assist for the first goal, a pass behind the defense, and Rashica was in. Schalke have to be careful of the pace of Rashica, but Max Kruse, don't give him any time if he got the ball.
He really is one of the most in-form players, not just in Germany, but in Europe as well, Max Kruse at the moment. A key figure. The officials tonight, Dennis Eitekin, the referee, one of the most experienced in Germany, took charge of the 2017 final between Dortmund and Frankfurt. Well, plenty of DFB Cup history on show. Schalke are 5-time winners, and Werder have lifted the trophy on 6 occasions. There's only Bayern München who've won it more, and between them, these 2 sides have reached the final 22 times. Stefan, which could you see making it all the way to the Berlin this season?
Overall, today there's an open game, because it's the quarter-final of the cup, and home advantage for me as a former player was always vital. Your supporters behind you, look at the north stand now, the atmosphere is going up now. A little bit maybe Schalke are the favorites for that game today.
Well, Huub Stevens, the new coach, was asked whether it was a distraction in the relegation battle. And of course, his wry smile said it all. This means everything to the players out on the pitch and the supporters in the stand. We're just 2 matches away from the showpiece in Berlin. It's quarter-final time in the DFB Cup. Hamburg, Leipzig and Bayern have already booked their ticket to the semi-finals. Tonight, Schalke and Bremen are vying to join them. Welcome to the Veltins Arena in Gelsenkirchen in the Ruhr district. This is the region that is Germany's beating football heart. And this is arguably the tie of the round, a wealth of DFB Cup pedigree on show. The 5-time winners Schalke in their famous royal blue shirts against Werder. We've lifted the trophy on 6 occasions. I'm Rob Turner on commentary for you this evening. Delighted to be joined by the former Schalke, Dortmund and Germany star Steffen Freund. And an early long ball for Breel Embolo, who's turned and facing goal, held up by Vekovic at the first and the second attempts. Strong challenge by the young Serb, but Serdar has won it back again. Still Serdar, and he's managed to thread it through to Embolo. And Burgstaller with a shot on the rebounds. There were appeals for a penalty in the crowds. Dennis Saitekin having nothing to do with it. Embolo is still down in the area. But a first warning shots for Bremen.
Oh, great pass from Serdar. And then the pace of Embolo, there's the touch from Pavlenka, so it's no penalty. But that was close, and the pace of Embolo, frightening.
Well, Pavlenka perhaps just got a little touch. We do have the video assistance in the quarter-final stage.
But the movement of the ball, you can see, Rob, is definitely no penalty. The touch from Pavlenka was strong.
Good goalkeeping from the Czech international Gigi Pavlenka, the man who saved 2 penalties in the shootouts in Dortmund in the previous round, so very much the hero. That would have endeared him even to Schalke fans. Borussia Dortmund, the main rivals of Schalke, just 30 kilometres or so down the road from here. It's where Bremen won in the 3rd round to book their ticket to the quarter-finals. And if we're feeling superstitious, it's also the place Bremen won in the 3rd round in 2009, the year in which they last went on to win the DFB Cup. Huub Stevens back in charge for a 3rd time at Schalke. Got his first win of his new era on Saturday. It was his 100th in total in the Bundesliga as Schalke coach. And it's a case of coming full circle for Huub Stevens. His first ever match in charge of Schalke way back in 1996 in the Bundesliga also came against Werder Bremen. Bremen running out 3-0 winners on that occasion. But for a coach like Huub Stevens, whose mantra has always been to keep it tight at the back, the most important thing is the clean sheet. Things maybe... This is Rashica. He's got time to turn. Still Milot Rashica. In the end, the Schalke defence dealt with it well, but first sign of his pace to threaten the royal blue back line. That's a neat touch by Embolo. And Schalke opening up the Bremen defence. No one in the middle. Or Chipka, it was on the overlap. Playing in a very advanced position down the left-hand side, Sebastian Chipka. But Embolo already on a couple of occasions proving a little bit of a handful for the Bremen back line.
Yeah, and it's good to see him 100% fit back because he has the pace, and I think that's what Schalke needs up front. Someone can go behind the back 4 to create chances and spaces for someone else, maybe.
This is Orchipka, forced back to Salif Sané. He'll go even further back to Alexander Nübel, the young goalkeeper who's assumed the #1 position at Schalke, taking over from Ralf Fährmann. Stambouli looks long for Embolo. All the way through to Pavlenka. This is Marco Friedl on the right-hand side. In today for the injured Gebre Selassie. Davy Klaassen. This is Augustinsson under pressure from Rudy. Max Kruse dropping deep is challenged well by Suat Serdar. And this is the debutants, Nassim Boujaleb. Klaassen quickest to react, Augustinsson. And now Johannes Eggestein bundled off the ball by Nastasic, fair and square. Such an uncompromising defender. Nastasic, reliable figure at the back for Schalke.
Tactically, you can see good. Both teams like to play midfield pressing, so they drop a little bit and to win the ball back in midfield. So it's not a lot of space to play from the back into the midfield.
And already a sign that both teams playing with passion in midfield, something that Hoopstevens demanded. It's what the crowd here at Schalke certainly demands. A hard-working area, a Ruhr district.
Yeah, and exactly, that's why he's playing with Serdar and Mascarell, two holding midfielders, and that Boujalab is playing above both, so that he has more a free role on his home debut. Not easy for that youngster.
Well, Schalke have a free kick now in a fairly promising position. Sebastian Rudy and Orchipka standing over it. It's the left foot of Orchipka. It's a decent looking cross for Embolo, but Moisander had got the vital flick to see it out for the corner. Plenty of height to aim for Schalke. Salif Sané and Embolo Burgstaller all providing very much of an aerial threat. First corner of the evening, Sebastian Rudy to take. Just floated in and away by Veljkovic. Rudy winning the ball back well. Stambouli's cross is far too deep for Embolo. Pavlenka wastes little time setting Eggestein off. Here's Johannes Eggestein. Two brothers in the Bremen side. Johannes, the striker, and Maximilian in midfield. This is Davy Klaassen. Neat flick to Max Kruse. Kruse just working some space for himself. Augustinsson in support. The deep cross looking for Eggestein, just too far. Johannes Eggestein has been on the mark in the DFB Cup this season. Scored in the first round away at Worms. One of several Werder Bremen players who've been on the score sheets in the DFB Cup. They are the competition's top scorers. A 5-1 win in the first round, a 6-1 win in the second, and then 3 goals in Dortmund in the last. 14 goals in 3 games so far. In free scoring modes, thanks in no small part to this man, Max Kruse. Whose ball for Augustinsson, just this time wayward. This is Embolo under pressure from Augustinsson. Klaassen in support. Now Maximilian Eggestein manages to nick it through well to his brother, and Rashica from distance. Well, Nubel had it covered, but Rashica, the sign of a man full of confidence.
But that finish was a little bit too early. He can go 1 against 1 with his pace. But in transition, attacking transition from Werder Bremen is outstanding. 1 pass and then one of the strikers is in.
It's been a key tactic under Florian Kohfeldt to create scoring chances as quickly as possible. Around 6 seconds or so they try between winning the ball and creating a chance. Incisive passes through the middle as well. And it's a tactic that served him very well, Florian Kohfeldt. Been been named the coach of the season in Germany.
Yeah, he transformed Werder Bremen from a team that is involved in the relegation zone. When he came in there, been on the 17th position in 2017 October, and now they are 6th and can go, or they're one of the favorites, maybe the moment to go to Europe.
2 routes open to Europe for Werder Bremen. In the league they are, as Stefan says, in 6th and final Europa League place. And tonight as well, the DFB Cup offers the shortest routes to Europe, 2 more matches. So very much all to play for Werder Bremen this season, promising to be their best for a while. Saturday against Mainz, they set a new club record, having found the net in 28 consecutive Bundesliga matches. It's a record that in Europe only Paris Saint-Germain can better. Not even Bayern, not even Dortmund have been as prolific as Werder Bremen. And when they're on song, they're a joy to watch. The only slight problem they were having in the Bundesliga was converting draws into victories. Too many draws. Otherwise, they would have been perhaps even challenging for the Champions League. This is Klaassen, hounds Stambouli well and wins the free kick. Stambouli just gets the first talking to from Dennis Eitekin.
And it's a tactical foul, so he's lucky to have not a yellow card early in the game, but I agree with the referee. Next one.
This is Augustinsson, gives the ball away fairly carelessly. This is Bujaleb, and Augustinsson is there again. Klaassen. Now Augustinsson has got Eggestein, but that's too far. The roof is closed at the Veltins Arena and the atmosphere echoing all around, and when the 60,000 plus Schalke fans are in full voice, you can hardly hear yourself think. It's an atmosphere Stefan Freund knows all about, having played here for Schalke. When you've got the support of these fans behind you, does it really gives you an extra lift?
Yeah, and this one of the top clubs in Germany. The support at home is outstanding, and Schalke, the tradition is huge. So you feel sometimes the pressure, but also the support, and it's a special place to play.
This is Salif Sané.
And tactically we can see Werder Bremen, that the shine drops into the defense to a back three, because it's against 2 strikers, Embolo and Burgstaller. So they are not 1 against 1.
Well, it's the tactic that Florian Kohfeldt employed in Dortmund in round 3, the back three, with Nuri Sahin dropping back. Nuri Sahin up against Guido Burgstaller at the moment. May have his work cut out. Burgstaller, a fan favourite here and a bullish striker. Here is Nuri Sahin. Just 1 or 2 whistles in the crowd when Nuri Sahin gets the ball, due to, of course, to his long history with their great rivals Borussia Dortmund. Serdar wins the header against Klaassen, and now Burgstaller has played in a decent ball for Rudy. If he can keep it in, he can. It was a dangerous-looking cross. But Werder can now break with Eggestein. Serdar is back to mop up. Very industrious in this opening stages, Suat Serdar, buoyed by his first competitive goal for Schalke at the weekend. He scored 3 goals for his former club Mainz in the past, but now he's finally up and running in Gelsenkirchen. Salif Sané at the back, new signing in the summer from Hanover. He was the match winner in the last round for Schalke, 2 goals in their 4-1 win over Fortuna Düsseldorf. Embolo will give chase, but Vekovic can see it back to Pavlenka. Still Embolo and Burgstaller pressing very high up. Bujaleb in the middle behind them in the hole. Precious little time on the ball so far, Bujaleb, on his debut, but his time will come. Animated Florian Kohfeldt on the touchline. It's been a happy hunting ground for him. He's won all 3 encounters against Schalke in charge of Bremen. Another victory today sent his side into the semi-finals of the DFB Cup. Just over quarter of an hour played at the Veltins Arena. Hard fought, open game so far. Openings at either end. And an intensely fought midfield battle as well.
Oh, great touch from Rashica between Sané's leg. Then it's too difficult, or it's not possible to turn quickly, so that's why there was the touch and the foul. And lucky too, can be a yellow card.
Segerstein. Friedel back to Vekovic. And Moisander, who was a doubt in the week, he picked up an injury against Mainz last weekend, managed to shrug it off, had to be replaced by Sebastian Langkamp in the first half. This is Nuri Sahin. Now Max Kruse. And Rashica with a chance to open up and gets the shot away. Salif Sané had got the block on. Again though, Stefan, proof once more just how quickly Werder can break. Sahin playing a more advanced role with the ball.
Yes, and Rashica has the pace, so it's difficult to defend. The moments will come that Schalke is too open, like a few seconds ago, and then Rashica can go 1 against 1, and then it's difficult to defend. But a good block from Sané in the end.
Moisander under pressure from Embolo. It's a decent ball to Kruse, just too difficult to control. Milot Rashica certainly proved a thorn in Schalke's side the last time these two sides met, just over a month ago in Bremen. Werder running out 4-2 winners, Rashica with 2 goals on that occasion. Part of a run that's seen him score 6 in his last 7 appearances. Sebastian Rudy was a member of the Bayern squad who made it all the way to the final last season before being beaten by Eintracht Frankfurt on a memorable night at the end of May in Berlin. This is Bujaleb. Davy Klaassen alert to the danger, just too far for Kruse, but Max Kruse will perhaps get there. And still Kruse manages to retain possession under a great deal of pressure.
That was good to see. Mascarell and Serdar tried to stop Kruse, and I think that's the match plan. The central midfield, Serdar and Mascarell have to be close to him, that he can't play the final passes to Rashica or Eggestein or Oder hat er gestanden?
Rudy's attempted crossfield ball was just too under hit, and it's given Werder the ball back. Here is Max Kruse. Klaasen's in support. Now Rashica, space on the left. The low ball had no power on it. Schalke can clear. Stuart Serdar is down in somewhat a bit of pain. He'd gone in to challenge Rashica, probably taken the sting out of the cross.
Twisted, I think, his right ankle.
Just caught on the follow through and twisted, yeah. He's hobbling slowly to his feet, Stuart Serdar. Pavlenka finds Augustinsson quite nicely. It's not his great strength, Pavlenka. Fantastic shot stopper, but with the ball at his feet. And the first booking of the game is shown to Salif Saneh for a renewed challenge on Milot Rashica.
There's the contact. After the first foul, it's okay to give him the yellow card now, but the reaction from Julian Kovert on the line was a little bit too much for me, to go there and shout and tell the referee and tell everyone that's a yellow card. I don't like that. It's down to the referee. That's why there are a lot of conversations now with the fourth referee now. It was a little bit overreaction on the Werder Bremen bench.
Well, probably the total sum of challenges on Milot Rashica was what was making Florian Kohfeldt so animated. He's been singled out in this opening 20 minutes or so. Identified as the danger man. Generally, two players around him when he gets the ball. Friedel. Eggestein. Touch too heavy, but he's won the free kick. And this is the kind of moments, especially at Schalke, when the home fans voice their displeasure at too many free kicks against their side.
There's the contact.
But no
doubt
doubt about it.
It's fine.
Nuri Sahin with the free kick. Schalke can break. This is Burgstaller. Now Sebastian Rudy. It's a very good challenge indeed from Milot Rashica. Dennis Aytekin just having to calm things down at the moment. Passions are riding high. Stambouli, the man in the mask. Should be too far for Embolo. Pavlenka is there to cover. Werder Bremen play their way very intelligently out of trouble. Kruse. A bit between his teeth now. This is Eggestein to his brother. Maximilian Eggestein, perhaps from distance. It's Max Kruse! And Nubel can't hold it! Well, Stambouli was there, under pressure from Eggestein. An early sign of nerves from Alexander Nubel.
It was Marco Friedl with a good shot, and an individual mistake from Nubel. But well played again. Last 10 minutes in possession, Werder Bremen are the better side. You can see now the confidence and how they can play, especially in midfield.
Stambouli. This is Burgstaller. Augustinson can only play the ball into Boujaleb's path. This is Mascarell from distance. Well, chances starting to come thick and fast.
Yeah, the ball came from Augustinson, and then there's an option, of course, to shoot from 20-25 yards.
The first sign of Boujaleb's promise in the build-up. He did really well to shield the ball on the edge of the area and then pick out the run of Omar Mascarell. So perhaps the 19-year-old is getting into the game more and more. It's the latest free kick goes Schalke's way. Two options, or Chipka and Rudy, the in-swinger or the out-swinger. As mentioned before, plenty of height to aim for. It's Sebastian Rudy with a very decent free kick indeed. Unfortunately for Schalke, Salif Sane could not make a proper connection.
Great ball from Rudy. I think it's a free header. I think, look at the reaction of Salif Sane. So he's not happy because he has the quality to bring that ball on. Oh, was it Embolo?
Salif Sane was.
Yes, Salif Sane.
Yeah, as free a header as you would like. The flag has been raised as Rashica looked to burst through. But that has to go down as the best chance of the half so far. Yeah, just confirmation, Rashica well offside. Boujaleb sneaking in behind. It's a decent cutback and across the face of Bremen's goal. Well, Boujaleb causing trouble once again. Marco Friedl was able to sniff out the danger at the last. Sebastian Rudy. Stuart Serda looking for Burgstaller. Always getting under it. Up and over the bar.
Good run from Boujaleb. Good timed run behind the back four. There's the striker, you know, in the middle of a park normally. And Bolo's a little bit too late. That's the position. You need someone knows before that the ball will go there.
Well, initially, the first target of his cross, Bastian Oczipka, who's been up in support, not noted for his goal-scoring prowess. Just 3 goals to his name in 219 Bundesliga appearances. Davy Klaassen. It was a neat free kick from Vekovic. Shaheen is penalised for the header against Embolo.
He's jumping first. That's why then the end is on top of Embolo.
The game remains very finely poised as we pass the half-hour mark in this DFB Cup quarter-final tie between Schalke and Bremen. Very little to choose between the two sides at the moment. It's very much still up for grabs. The chance to join Bayern, Hamburg and Leipzig in the semi-final draw, which takes place on Sunday nights. Embolo. Good first touch. Poor second. Embolo has been suffering from injuries ever since joining Schalke. He broke his ankle and his shin in his first season. Broke his foot in November of last year. Such an injury-plagued time he's had here, but he announced his return in style in the reverse fixture with Bremen just a month ago at the Weserstadion. He scored twice, couldn't prevent that 4-2 defeat. This is Mascarell, who won the DFB Cup last season with Frankfurt. Or Chipka. Neat work by Bujaleb. Embolo gives the ball away though. Starting to look ever more lively, Nassim Bujaleb. Mascarell. Looking to play Burgstaller in behind, but too much weight on the pass. Huub Stevens always looks concerned, but there's certainly few reasons for optimism with Schalke's showing so far in this first half, even though he's a hard man to impress.
Yeah, and they keep the clean sheet. Remember in the past, that's the most important for his philosophy of football, and your chance will come. But overall, you can see that in possession, Schalke struggled this year to create chances and keep the ball a little bit longer. It ends up with long balls. Or too many times.
This is Bujaleb. Confusion reigns in the middle. Suat Serdar. Young midfielder full of potential and promise. Very versatile, talented young midfielder. Sebastian Rudy, away by Shaheen. Still Rudy. This is Burgstaller. Rudy again. Still Sebastian Rudy. Well, he was under a great deal of pressure from Niklas Moisander. Kept the ball well, and he's won his side the free kick.
Yeah, it was the best what he can do in that moment. Use your body in front of Moisander, there's the touch. Free kick in an area can be really dangerous.
Rudy was almost running down a cul-de-sac away from goal, but now Schalke have the chance. And it was from a very similar position that they created the best chance of the half so far, that free header from Salif Sané. Can they reproduce? Bremen have been warned. Plenty of white shirts in the area, leaving nothing to chance. It's Rudy with the pinpoint delivery away. by Eggestein. Again, whipped in dangerously by Sebastian Rudy. That's proving to be a real weapon for Schalke in this first half. Now Rudy, seen plenty of the ball. He's not had the easiest of seasons, Sebastian Rudy, since joining from Bayern in the summer, but certainly making an impression tonight. One of the busiest players in blue.
Yeah, he played that right-back position a lot of times in the past. Not in Hoffenheim. There he played always in the central midfield, but he played that position for Germany under Joachim Löw and also sometimes for Bayern Munich.
Been employed by Domenico Tedesco mainly in a deep-lying holding role in the centre of midfield. This is Moisander, the boss at the back for Bremen. We talk a lot about Max Kruse and Milot Rashica, but Niklas Moisander almost as important to Werder Bremen's cause. You really notice his absence when he doesn't play. Eggestein for Rashica. Eggestein uses Marco Friedl. Mascarell can clear. Safety first by Vekovic. Vekovic, a player you know from his past at Tottenham, where you also played, Stefan.
Yeah, and he played as a holding midfielder as a youngster and then transformed to a really good centre half. Can use both legs, good on the ball and strong physically. Now Rashica is in.
This is Milot Rashica. Makes Max Kruse with him. Schalke rushing back. Eggestein, it's still Rashica. In the end, not really anyone to aim for. Schalke had got back in numbers. Marco Friedl with the throw. Max Kruse. Eggestein. Or Chipka away. And it's broken nicely for Burgstaller. Rudy is in support. It's 2 against 2 in the middle. This is Breel Embolo. And the time taken to bring the ball down has given Nuri Sahin and Bremen the chance to recover. And now Bremen can break. It's a good touch by Salif Sané. Just broke up that attack, but Eggestein keeps momentum going. This is Davy Klaassen. Sahin. Bustling his way forward, no free kick, says Dennis Aytekin. This is Augustinsson. Max Kruse. A nice idea from Rashica with the flick. Davy Klaassen hadn't started his run, however. The touch just a little too heavy. So here we see the opening again. Dennis Aytekin not impressed by any Bremen appeals for handball. Kruse. It's almost impossible to separate Max Kruse from the ball. It's almost no overstatement to say that Max Kruse is Werder Bremen's Lionel Messi. Serdar. Challenged by Rashid, Serdar wins out well. Mascarell. Has to go back to Nubel. Five minutes to half-time. Still goalless at the Veltins Arena. Very nicely balanced DFB Cup tie. Should scores still be level at the end of 90, we'll have extra time and then potentially a penalty shootout. The tie will be decided on the night. Serdar. Shaheen's header can only find Chipka. Twists and turns, gets the cross in. Moisander gets it away. Nastasic with a powerful header. To Serdar. Rudy with a give and go with Embolo. And again. Embolo is penalised. It looked as if he got the better of Augustinsson. And Werder Bremen very grateful to hear Dennis Aytekin's whistle.
I'm not sure too. Let's have a look at the replay. Embolo is strong. Looking now. Augustinsson have to turn, but he's used
tugging on his shirt.
Yes. So it's okay. Here's a free kick.
The Stefan Freund seal of approval for Dennis Aytekin.
No, but sometimes Embolo is so strong that for a defender it's difficult to hold him because he's using his body. Oh, what a pass.
And this is Eggestein. The flag has stayed down! It's the closest Bremen have come to opening the scoring. Johannes Eggestein just inches away.
And it's his brother is playing him in. Oh, what a pass from Maximilian Eggestein. Stambouli is a moment too late. But the first touch, I think, from Johannes Eggestein, is not good enough. A little bit more forward than he's in. The pass is a little bit into his back too.
But once again, Werder Bremen showing us just how quickly they can break. We were still involved in Schalke's attack down the other end, and suddenly it had all opened up for Werder. Maxi Eggestein at the heart of it. Pavlenka. Eggestein had wrestled Stambouli down to the ground. Stambouli, one of several players on the pitch who've won a domestic cup away from Germany. Stambouli lifted the French Cup with PSG. Also represents Milot Rashica, who won the Dutch Cup with Vitesse Arnhem. And everyone on the pitch desperate to win the German Cup, the DFB Cup this season. And it's still very much up for grabs for both of them. Mascarell. This is Rudy. Serdar's given the ball away all too carelessly. This is Rashica, full of pace and purpose, and Eggestein, and now Max Kruse in space, just a little slip. And Maxi Eggestein on the rebounds, and the chance goes begging for Werder Bremen. And it was a really decent opening.
After an individual mistake from Suat Serdar. And that's exactly the moment. Look at now his pass back. Interception from Rashica, pace, nutmeg, and in the end, a block from Kruse's shot and another chance for Maximilian Eggestein. But in transition, Werder Bremen are dangerous.
Just a shame for Max Kruse that he seemed to slip just as he was looking to pull the trigger. Took the sting out of that attack. Dennis Eitiken taking a look at the watch. It's the last chance of the half. A very finely poised DFB Cup quarter-final between Schalke and Werder Bremen. Chances at either end, passionately fought in midfield. The two sides go into the dressing rooms with the score: Schalke 0, Werder Bremen 0.
weiter nicht eben schnell, ne?
Ja, geht weiter. Alles gut beim Unentschieden. Das ist mir fast egal am Ende.
Welcome back to the Veltins Arena. Schalke are retaking the pitch. Out early for the second half. You can see their faces in the tunnel. They are certainly pumped up for it. No changes for the home side at half-time. It's as you were. They line up with no opponents at the moment. Bremen taking their time, but here they come now, led onto the pitch by captain Max Kruse. And a quick head count reveals that Werder 2 unchanged at the break. For this DFB Cup quarter-final tie, which remains finely poised at 0-0. Final checks in place by Dennis Eitekin. And away we go at the Veltins Arena. 45 minutes separating either Schalke or Werder Bremen from a semi-final berth in the DFB Cup. Perhaps even longer. If it stays 0-0, we'll be headed for extra time and penalties. This is Johannes Eggestein, who had a chance right at the end of the first half to open the scoring. The closest Bremen came. This is Augustinsson, Max Kruse in the director's chair, as ever, for Werder Bremen. Milot Rashica looking to take on Stamboli, runs out of pitch. Hustled out of play by the Frenchman. But Werder Bremen certainly starting this second half full of intent. Only 40 seconds gone, and that's two drives forward towards the Schalke goal. Picking up where they left off at the end of the first half. On the balance of play, Werder Bremen probably edging it over Schalke. This is Milot Rashica. Max Kruse. Klaassen. Werder playing keep ball on the edge of the Schalke area, just waiting for that chance to open up. To find the gap. This is Shahi, whose precision passing is more than capable of doing just that. Augustinsson cuts inside and loses out, and now Schalke can drive forward. This is Bourgeleb. It's a promising run from the youngster. Still Bourgeleb. It's still Bourgeleb! Well, it wasn't too far away. And what a way that would have been for Bourgeleb to mark his full debut for Schalke.
Yeah, look at his pace. Maximilian Eggestein can't follow him. And there was an option to play to the right side, but to finish from 18 yards, center in the front of goal is a good option. And was there a touch from Pavlenka?
It looked as if Pavlenka got the final touch. It is just a goal kick. But especially, Stefan, for a young player on his full debut, when he gets a head of steam up like that, he's driving through midfield. Even if he has options to the right or to the left, he's only going to have one thing on his mind. And
exactly, and that's why Huub Stevens, I think, put him in the squad, so he believes that he can do something special today, has nothing to lose, and you can see already, he's skillful and quick. So if you give him space, it can be really dangerous.
Now space for Orchipka down the left. Vejkovic cuts out the cross. This is Nastasic. ball bouncing off Oczipka's shoulder. Oczipka gets the 1-2, or looks for the 1-2 with Burgstaller. It was too far. Well, Burgstaller, who's been brought into the sides for Mark Uth this evening. A player with a bit more power, a bit more dynamism perhaps than Mark Uth. Not had too much chance to impress so far, Burgstaller, though.
Exactly, so he can do more for the team. And that last pass is a technical mistake, so he can improve that too. So keep the ball and play 1 or 2 touch football. There's a yellow card
for Nuri Sahin for the challenge on Embolo. It's Bremen's first booking of the evening. Salif Sané on the Schalke side.
He slipped. It was an accident, but he slipped and then into Embolo. And then, of course, it's a tactical foul.
Pleads his innocence, Nuri Sahin. A DFB Cup winner with Dortmund. Sebastian Rudy chips it in. And Breel Embolo. Salif Sané it was who almost got on the end. Well, that's the second time this evening that a Sebastian Rudy free kick has found Salif Sané in space in the Bremen area, and that's the second time he's failed to make a connection. It's Marco Friedl. Rashica.
Good start from Schalke. 2 chances, Bujelab, and that was another one for Sané, completely free in front of the goal. And set pieces, we all know,
perhaps almost
really important in football now.
It's just perhaps unfortunate for Schalke that it's been Salif Sané, the defender, who's been all on his own in the area. If it had been Embolo or Burgstaller, perhaps Schalke may have gone 1-0 up by now. Stamboli drives forward. This is Burgstaller dropping deep. Takes Oczipka with him. Oh, Oczipka just showed far too much of that to Friedl, but he's given it away to Mascarell, and Oczipka will get a second chance at the delivery out for a corner.
Oh, here we can see, I think he's completely on his own, on his left foot, on his weaker left foot. That's why he missed the ball completely. Really good chance for Schalke to go 1-0 up.
The Schalke fans are ramping up the noise inside the Veltins arena. They can sense their team is onto something. It's another decent corner and a good save by Pavlenka in the end. Burgstaller with the chance. Pavlenka, it's the first real save he's had to make this evening, and he got down really well.
Quality corner from Oczipka. Sané, Embolo completely free, also on the post, I think. Huh?
Off the post. Indeed, from this position, it looked as if Pavlenka had made the save.
Oh,
but off the post. And a call for calm from Florian Kohfeldt. Bremen just a little bit on the ropes at the moment. Schalke have their tails up. This is Mascarell. Embolo. Finally takes Bujelab with him. Bujelab looking to shoot. It's Embolo. Well, the shots are raining in on Bremen's goal. None of them as yet on target. But encouraging signs for the Schalke bench. Mike Buskins deep in conversation with Gerald Asamoah, Schalke legend. Kruse. Burgstaller, decent turn, away from Friedel. Şahin, who's dropped back again into central defence. As Bremen are made to sit very deep in their own half. Vejkovic, now Klaassen. Eggestein to turn and run at the defence. Still Johannes Eggestein looking to thread it through to Rashica. Augustinsson is upended by Sebastian Rudy. And Sebastian Rudy is in the book. It was Moisander. He picked up a knock against Mainz at the weekend.
On top of his right ankle, that's why. Painful, a little bit twisted. Hopefully he's not too bad. Definitely a yellow card.
Şahin with the free kick, whipped in, looking for Marco Friedel. It evades everyone in the end. And Chipka with the long clearance for Embolo. Klaassen sticks the boot in. Still Davy Klaassen has looked as if he'd given it away. Max Kruse was there to mop up. Now Augustinsson. Kruse. Rashica out wide. Such fluid movements in the Werder front line. Kruse, Rashica, then Eggestein. None of that front three really sticking to one position, covering the full range of options across the front line, those three.
Defensively, Schalke looks good organized. The three centre halves make it really difficult to create space for the attacking players for Werder Bremen. Still for Kruse it's difficult to play the final pass or to play someone behind the back three or back five.
Well, it's testament to how well organised Schalke's defence is that they've stopped Werder Bremen from scoring for almost an hour now. That's something of a rarity these days.
How many games without any?
They've scored in each of the last 28 games in the Bundesliga, and in fact in the DFB Cup the last time that Werder Bremen failed to score on the road was way back in 2016. That was only one of their last 35 games when they haven't found the net away from home in this competition. And that away game was at Bayern, so almost forgivable.
Yeah, but that shows how good organised Schalke is, and I think that's why Hoops Stevens is so important for the club, that you have a coach can come back, working in the board and is always available, knows the club, and of course organize the defense first. Keep the clean sheet first, then you can win games.
Or Chipka with the free kick deep into the area, away by Klaassen. Down on the bench, Schalke look as if they're getting ready to make their first substitution. Yevgen Konoplyanka stripping off to get ready. Receiving some tactical instructions.
And look, now there was a foul from Rudy, but not enough for a yellow card. But you have to be careful.
Rudy, who's already in the book. Stambouli goes long. Mascarell cuts it out and instigates the next attack. cut out at source by Eggestein. That's a very good ball out left. Milot Rashica into the area. Well, it was a decent chance. They carved it out well. Johannes Eggestein just couldn't find his range in the end.
59. Spielminute, Schichtwechsel bei Königsblau.
I missed the target completely. But it was the first time that Schalke was a little bit unorganized.
And almost made to pay the price. The first substitution of the evening, Braille Embolo. His evening comes to an end. And he's replaced by Yevgen Konoplyanka, who's a left midfielder by trade. Means that Schalke now, with just the one striker on the pitch, and they look to have reverted to just one up front. It's Guido Burgstaller. This is Suat Serdar. Bujaleb.
Yeah, it looks like tactically Konoplyanka and Bujalab are both behind Burgstaller to create another player in midfield.
Fans von Werder Bremen, danke euch alle an 61.597 Zuschauer hier bei uns in der Felddienst-Arena. Schön, dass ihr da seid.
Is that going to require Werder Bremen to react accordingly, or would their back four still be able to cope?
No, that means for me that Şahin have to go back into the midfield now. So they're playing only with one striker up front. Let's see, that will change that now, because now you need Şahin against Bujalab or against Konoplyanka. And then Klaassen or Eggestein have to drop.
So, first real throw of the dice from Huub Stevens.
Now you can see there's only Burgstaller up front against three Werder Bremen centre halves. So that's exactly what Huub Stevens want. Now Konoplyanka and now Bujalab in a position in between the lines to pick up the ball, turn and then dribble.
Vejkovic with the long clearance. Sané. Or Chipka. First touch of the ball for Konoplyanka. Winding his way down the left-hand side. Vejkovic. Only clears as far as Nastasic. Now Burgstaller into the area. Well, he's stumbled over Şahin on his way through. But that first touch by Guido Burgstaller was really a bit too heavy.
Exactly, my first reaction, it was a little bit too heavy, and Şahin was on the ground already.
Well, the crowds are not happy.
Let's have a look at the replay. You see is nothing from Şahin. He's going down on his own. Slipped again. There you can see. Well, not enough for a penalty.
Well, Burgstaller would, of course, be very happy to accept the invitation.
Yeah, and Pavlenka was there.
Chance had already gone away from Guido Burgstaller. But space had opened up for Schalke. Huub Stevens' plan. Coming off, it's Şahin though with a free kick for Bremen. Augustinsson couldn't get the connection. Now Burgstaller takes Konoplyanka with him. Konoplyanka. Or Chipka on the overlap. Was sold a little too short.
Well defended again from Rashica. It's going all the way 1-against-1 with Oshipka.
Larsen's flick for Augustinsson is read well by Rudy. Mascarell. Very little options to aim for going forward. He's forced out wide. Dearth of blue shirts in advanced positions. Now Max Kruse, Rashica. Well, Eggestein was poised to pull the trigger. Schalke had got back. This is Marco Friedl, though, keeping momentum going for Bremen. Oh, it's sensational! What a strike by Milot Rashica! And Werder lead in the most spectacular of styles. Almost out of nothing. And away to our right, the 6,000 Werder fans are in ecstasy.
Interception from Marco Friedl. And then it's just individual class to finish from that position into the corner. That's quality and difficult to defend for Schalke from 20 yards after an interception. Oh, look at it.
What a strike from Milot Rashica. Yeah. Well, we're almost running out of superlatives now to describe this Werder frontline duo. And
the technique, the top spin, you know, we say now top spin. The ball moves into the bottom of the corner. Oh. No chance for Alexander Nübel, I have to say that straight away, because
well, he's had very little to do, Nübel.
And don't forget a good start. 4 half chances for Schalke at the beginning of the second half. And then a wonder shot from Rashica makes the difference.
Just so clinical and a sign of a team so full of confidence. Rashica with 6 goals in his last 7 going into this one. Goal at the weekend. 2 goals against Schalke last month. And that one, definitely a contender for Rashica's goal of the month. Up against some stiff competition. But again, they're just, this Kruse and Rashica, when they're together, they just seem unstoppable and playable at the moment.
Yeah, it was another good movement. And of course, Kruse has the view to give a layoff back. But then was the interception from Friedl to win the ball back when Schalke think they can start a counter-attack. And there was maybe a little bit space for Rashica, or enough space to finish.
And the next change by Schalke. Nassim Boujaleb's first start for Schalke comes to a premature end. He's made a good impression, looked lively, especially at the start of this second half. And he's replaced by Mark Uts. Schalke back now to having 2 out-and-out strikers on the pitch as they look to retrieve the deficits. This is Uts. He's won the corner. So Stevens reverting back to 2 strikers. corner is cut out. Rudy will have another chance to deliver into the arms of Gigi Pavlenka. So Konoplyanka moving into the hole behind Uth and Burgstaller for Schalke. Well, Chipka and Rudy still in very advanced positions on the flanks. This is Eggestein. Well, Chipka. And now Konoplyanka can run at the defence now. It's still Konoplyanka! Just not enough purchase on the shot. Never going to trouble Gigi Pavlenka.
That's exactly why he's playing that position. Got a pace. Difficult for Shine to follow him, and then you have the option to be on target. He's got so many goals in the past for Sevilla and for Dnipropetrovsk. I can remember years ago, one of the best strikers with Yarmolenko for the Ukraine.
Well, he was had a difficult start to his life at Schalke, Konoplyanka, but really blossomed once again under Domenico Tedesco. Found his form again.
Yeah, and this is the new position now for him, to play like in a 10 role behind two strikers. He can play that, but normally his position is a left winger. Got a ball and dribble 1-against-1, a little bit like Ribéry or Robin. Same movement, coming inside and have a finish with your strong right foot.
This is Mark Uth. Mascarell. Shaheen in close attention. "20 minutes remain for Schalke to find an equaliser, prolong their DFB Cup adventure. As things stand, Werder Bremen will join their northern rivals Hamburg in the semi-finals, the record champions Bayern and RB Leipzig. So a very strong lineup in the semi-finals. Bayern, Bremen and Leipzig, three of the strongest sides in the Bundesliga this season.
Yeah, good games to come.
This is Klaassen in space. It's Davy Klaassen to make it 2 for Werder. And that could have set the seal on Werder's passage to the semi-finals. Again, Schalke caught cold, and Davy Klaassen clinical.
Well played from the back. Already the run from Klaassen is there. Is onside, Rashica. And then he's not stopping Klaassen. It's going all the way behind Sané. Clever move. And then the ship ball. Was it Augustinsson, I think? What a fantastic ship ball over Sané, and then the finish from that angle on target. Quality, Davy Klaassen.
An instinctive finish by the Dutch international. He makes a habit of causing Schalke heartache in the latter stages of cup competitions. Twice he scored for Ajax in the Europa League back in 2017. Such an intelligent player, Davy Klaassen.
I think there was this first move behind Schalke's back 3 or back 5 in the game, and he scores straight away. Just individual class.
Well, you can see, though, testament really to Davy Klaassen's tactical discipline, because he is a player who can get forwards. He's very good in an attacking role, but yet he's very happy to do all the legwork for Kreuzer and Rashica and Eggestein.
The next change.
And the next change for Werder Bremen, Johannes Eggestein comes off, Kevin Merwald comes on. So a move by Florian Kohfeldt just to shore up this last quarter of an hour or so. Merwald's more of a defensive-minded midfielder, on for Johannes Eggestein, the attacker. But now as Schalke have to push forward, the space, you fear, will really open up for Werder now.
Yeah, it's a defensive move, and now Max Kruse is playing a second striker.
And here is Max Kruse, takes Augustinsson with him. Rashica and Eggestein! Merwalds it was.
Great layoff from Rashica, good position from Merwald.
Well, the first chance at goal from Kevin Merwald. Got on the score sheet against Augsburg last month from a not too dissimilar position from that. Chipka.
So tactic is a 5-3-2 from Werder Bremen. And of course, they're 2-0 up. They don't take too much risk now and wait for counter-attacks.
Konoplyanka. Serdar. Rudy loses out. Stamboli tries to keep things going. Rashica. Oh, Kruse is in space now. It's just Kruse against Sané. Well, Rashica was racing into position in the middle, but the ball too long.
A vital touch from Sané. He's not touching the ball. Rashica is in 1-against-1 with Nübel.
Long faces in the Schalke executive seats. That was the president, Clemens Tönnies, alongside sporting director Jochen Schneider. He joined the club last month from Leipzig. Just under a quarter of an hour remaining. The signs are that Schalke can now refocus completely on the matter at hand in the Bundesliga, unless we're about to experience the most dramatic 15 minutes of cup football.
We need something special from one of the Schalke players to come back. And the second chance is now Werder Bremen drops deep, win the ball back early, and of course increase the work rate, so that maybe Werder Bremen players are making mistakes.
Corner is given. Well, the travelling Bremen fans in high spirits. Chipka away by Shaheen. And Mascarell. Vajkovic can cut it out. But you do have to wonder, Stefan, where's this inspiration going to come from for Schalke? Because for my money, Bujalem was the liveliest player at the start of the second half, and they've taken him off. Of course, it's difficult. He's only 19. It's his first full start. You can't weigh too much responsibility on him. But where's this inspiration going to come from now?
Yeah, you have experienced players with Marc Uth, played for Germany now this season. He can do something special. He did it in Hoffenheim many times. Konoplyanka did it in the past. And of course, Burgstaller, he's one of the heroes here at Schalke. Scored already lots of goals. But don't forget, Schalke this season, they're involved in a relegation zone, and now we can see why, because they struggle to create chances or they struggle to score goals.
Quite remarkable that their home form in particular has really let them down. They've lost 8 times in the Bundesliga at home this season. They've lost their last 3 in all competitions here going into the game. That included the Champions League game against Manchester City. But still, for a side that finished runners-up in the Bundesliga last season, really quite remarkable that their home form is letting them down.
Exactly, but lots of changes in the team. A start in the Bundesliga with 4 defeats. The pressure was there straight from the beginning. And then, of course, if you change the team, Goretzka left, Maya left, important players in the central midfield. Lots of new players came in. That takes always time, but you don't have that time, especially at Schalke.
Well, that win against Hanover at the weekend definitely gave them some breathing space at the bottom. 6 points away from the relegation playoff they are now. I mean, you'd have to say they still should be okay, Schalke. It's just unusual to see them in a position like that.
Exactly. Last 8 years, they're 7 times played in Europe.
Nuri Sahin, who's definitely enjoying life at the moment. Werder Bremen just knocking the ball about almost nonchalantly at the moment. Schalke can't get it off them.
And that shows the confidence, the quality of Werder Bremen, and of course that's Julian Kofeld's philosophy and style. To keep the ball, especially when you're 1 or 2-0 up. And they're skillful, so they can play from the back. And the possession game from any player is a little bit better maybe from to the Schalke players.
Nastasic will give chase against Rashica. Well, it was overly ambitious by Omar Mascarell. Werder Bremen just warming up to make their next substitution. It's going to be like for like. Sebastian Langkamp is going to come on, ostensibly for Milos Vejkovic.
And Kutucu's ready.
For
a young
Schalke.
striker for Schalke, yeah.
Guido Burgstaller is the man to make way for Ahmed Kutucu. Kutucu, a youngster who scored his first goal for Schalke in the last round against Düsseldorf, a local boy, Gelsenkirchen born and bred.
Yeah, striker for striker, but more pace. Kutucu's quick. Can remember when he scored in Munich. Great counter-attack, pace. Good finish.
And here he is, Ahmed Kutucu, showing a burst of that pace that Stefan Freund mentioned. And he caught Vejkovic on the way through. Vejkovic signalling that he can't continue. Langkamp has already stripped off and ready to come on. Just clipped Vejkovic's heels on the way through.
On his left ankle, I think. Look at the left ankle from...
Vejkovic in full flight, unable to break. It's going to be the end of his evening. Sebastian Langkamp is poised and ready. Vekovic looks as if he'll require a bit more lengthy treatment. Here again, the build-up to the Rashica goal.
Yeah, Oshipka's mistake, interception, Friedel. And then don't forget, that's individual class. And before that goal, we had an even game.
2 clinical strikes by Werder Bremen, just killing the game off. Sebastian Langkamp on the pitch for the last 6 or 7 minutes. Oh, Rashica's in here. And Nastasic got across to cover. Still Bremen pressing high up the pitch, and they've won themselves a corner. Attack being the best form of defence for Werder Bremen. And surely Nuri Sahin won't be in too much of a hurry to take this corner. Werder's first of the evening. Sahin to take. Sané with the header. This is Marco Friedel. Back across to Sahin. Cut out by Stambouli. This is Langkamp. Maxi Eggestein helping out in defence.
Great ball from Pavlenka. The view already, that on the left side, 2 players free for Werder Bremen.
Just a shame for him that Augustinsson couldn't control the ball in front 5, but very difficult to bring down. Friedel under pressure from Kutacu got it away. This is Salif Sané. Suat Serdar. Time to turn.
And Sané is going forward now. I think he will not play as a centre-half anymore. They take the full risk now. Like a striker, last 5 minutes you can play long balls, that he can win the first header. And to set someone up.
Yeah, just 2 at the back. Stambouli and Nastasic, with Mascarell in the holding role in front. And as Steffen points out, Salif Sané as the central striker. And the throw held up to give Werder Bremen the chance to make their final substitution. It's Martin Harnik who'll be coming on for Milot Rashica. Standing ovations from the travelling fans for Milot Rashica. It was his goal that set Werder Bremen on the way to what looks like going to be a victory here at Schalke. A superlative strike from the Kosovan to give Werder the lead. His pace had been a persistent problem for Schalke all night, and now he's given a breather. And Martin Harnik gets a run out for the final 3 minutes or so. He'll have some defending to do initially as Schalke have the throw. This is Salif Sané. Stambouli. Werder Bremen gratefully accepts the ball into nowhere. A throw and some precious time to run down. Mark Oot is in some pain.
Signaling adductor.
Needs some treatment. Hib Stevens can ill afford this. Mark Uth is his fresh pair of legs, just come on as a substitute. And a striker as well, when they need two almost improbable looking goals. Never say never. Well, here we see Uth just pulling up as he brought the ball down.
Yeah. That reaction shows me there's a massive problem on his adductor, and I think he will come off.
The problem for Schalke is that they've used all 3 substitutions.
Exactly.
Only in extra time in the DFB Cup are you allowed to make a 4th. Extra time is looking a very unlikely prospect for Schalke at the moment.
To come back in the game, yeah.
Just about to enter the final minutes. This is Mervalds. Marco Friedl. Salif Sané will give chase. Shaheen's boot was high. And now Nuri Sahin receives a second yellow of the night. And Dennis Aytekin almost with a shrug of the shoulders to say, nothing I can do about it.
I'm not sure that is a yellow card, because I'm sure he got the ball. And of course, Salif Sané tried to win it with his head, and he used his foot. It's a little bit high, but very harsh. Look, there's a free kick, but he's going for a ball. Shaheen, and played the ball. What do you think?
Very tough, and especially in the last second of the game. Almost as if it was a gesture to Schalke. You've had to go down to 10 men, so Bremen could go down to 10 as well. Let's just even things up for the last minute or so.
But he will be suspended for the semi-final, and that's not good news.
Florian Kohfeldt, not a happy man, just ushering Shaheen away now before anything gets said that someone might regret. Schalke have the free kick, or Chipka into the middle. This is Kutucu. Away by Mervalds. 4 minutes of time added on. Schalke will pour everything forward, and they'll leave themselves exposed. This is Martin Harnik. It's 2-on-2 for Bremen. Harnik is racing clear now. Martin Harnik. Oh, a good save by Nubel. It came off his head. A header clear by Alexander Nubel. Harnik really got hold of it.
But really brave. Make yourself big. And he's not happy with Mascarell because he thinks that he can follow Harnik and can put him under pressure.
Well, Harnik's not the quickest. He's certainly not got the pace of Rashica, but he burst away there, left Mascarell for dead. Martin Harnik, whose last-minute equaliser in extra time in Dortmund helped Werder to the penalty shootout, which they eventually won. Harnik, a man with 21 goals in 26 DFB Cup appearances, a phenomenal record. Kutucu. And up and under from Nastasic. The return from Friedl. Stamboli with neat feet, and had to be now. He's lost out though to Martin Harnik. Max Kruse has Harnik to aim for in the middle. It was on his weaker right foot, and Max Kruse just denied the opportunity for the quick cross. But Werder.
But very clever to keep the ball.
Now they've given it away.
Last few seconds, yeah.
Konoplyanka. Still Konoplyanka, or Chipka in support, and back across for Serdar. Couldn't get hold of the shot. Well, that was perhaps the final opportunity for Schalke. 30 seconds of time added on remain. The travelling fans are celebrating. The rest of the Veltins arena starting to empty.
Special day for Werder Bremen Football Club, no question. Last year involved in the relegation zone, finished 11 this season, strong 6th at the moment, and in the semi-final of the German Cup.
And there is the confirmation. Dennis Eitiken blows for full time. Werder Bremen progress to the semi-finals of the DFB Cup. Florian Kohfeldt, the coach of the season, his odyssey continues for Hub Stevens. The dream of a 3rd DFB Cup triumph with Schalke is over. They can concentrate on the Bundesliga and the relegation battle. For Werder Bremen, what's becoming a fairy tale season continues. Goals from Milot Rashica and Davy Klaassen have given them a 2-0 victory in Gelsenkirchen. Stefan Freund, your thoughts on this quarter-final tie?
Overall, a deserved win for Werder Bremen, but don't forget, first half even, second half, first 50 minutes, Schalke was the better side, created 4 half chances to go 1-0 up, and then came the individual class of Rashica, a wonder shot to go 1-0 up, and then you could see the difference that Werder Bremen plays in a really good season with confidence, better in possession, stronger and physically good enough to move on, and Schalke couldn't come back. You could see they're involved in the relegation zone, and the goal from Rashica took them down, and the Klaassen goal did the rest.
The final score here in Gelsenkirchen, Schalke 0, Werder Bremen 2. Werder in the semi-finals of the DFB Cup.